before cancer, I would have been a little more this doesn't sound right. This person will feel bad. But when I was going through what I was going through, there was no place to think about somebody else. I needed to think only about myself, otherwise I would not make it. When you've been married for 20 years, believe me, you will discuss work. You're going to discuss things in life, so there is nothing that remains compartmentalized anymore. Yes, I was not good, so there were so many times when I feel, damn, this was not good enough. I'm not a trained actor, I've never done theatre, I'm not a trained dancer. So I've learnt on the job.
Hi everyone, welcome to a very special episode of Flashback with the Stars, and joining us is the gorgeous Sonali Bendre, who's back with a very special show, her OTT debut, The Broken News. So please tell us about how did it happen.
The first thing about it is I like the script, I like the character I'm playing, I like what the show is saying. It resonates is what I would say. And first is that. The second part is also, I think I'm at a phase in life where it's more about me, I have more time and I do want to do a lot more, and I just want to get back to working. Though I have worked in all these years, it's always been based on my child's need or this is what I want to do. That was not the priority. But I think I'm getting into the phase of life now where that is going to be the priority because I'm enjoying it so much, and there's so much of fun stuff happening that I'm feeling a little left out, and I'm like, even I want to be part of this. Everybody's having so much fun, I want to have fun too.
Yeah, and of course, we are really excited that you're representing our fraternity. You're playing a journalist.
Oh my God, I hope I'm doing it well. Yeah. So you are going to let me know what you think of it.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
We've loved the promo, of course. Yeah. But is there any particular, research that you had to do for the role, or did you model it on particular journalists?
It'll never be politically correct if I say whatever I say. So I'm going to be politically correct and say, no, it's fiction. But jokes apart, I wouldn't say any one person, but I think what my character represents is a thought process and as to what is happening. And so I think there will be bits of me that a lot of journalists will identify with, because this is what is happening today and has been happening and moving towards us in a certain direction. So it's very relatable, I would say. So probably you will see shades of various people in my character, or in Jaideep's character, or in Shreya's character for that matter.
And we've had some wonderful contemporaries of yours who've also done OTT and won so much praise for their role, right from Sushmita to Ravina to Vidya. Yeah. So anything that you've managed to catch on OTT, any series that you've managed to catch?
I loved what Sushmita was doing in Arya. She's so strong. She's always been strong and she's portrayed it so well. And I think Vidya and Shefali's new show that came out, it looked so interesting, and I love Vidya as an actor. I think she's fantastic. So,
and we also know you started out really young as a model, and even your style was much ahead of time. Today that would be considered regular, but that time I'm sure it was, like you were really glamorous.
When I started modeling, it was that was a phase where ad films started telling little stories. Before that, it was just the look and the movement and stuff like that. That was where those little stories started coming in. So I was doing a lot of work in advertising because there was all these little acting roles that were there. I was a bit scared to do ramp, quite frankly. It felt I'd heard so much about it, and I was very intimidated by everything that goes on live shows, and so I just avoided those. I was doing more than enough over here, and so that was the next thing. As soon as those ads started coming out, I just started getting a lot of roles. So I moved on to doing movies, and that's how it went on. But the style-wise, as you say, yes, I was at that time. It was more voluptuous would be the right word to say, and I was very skinny. And everybody had lovely curls and I had poker straight hair. So in that sense it was, yes, very different. And when I would always wear the bodycons and the baby doll dresses, and they were just me, But it was more like I was comfortable in it and I enjoyed wearing it, and but we never had so many pages which would talk about the style and stuff
True,
like that.
yeah.
And you know, there was so much that was happening. I wish it was, you know, we had people noticing all of that now. When I look back, yeah. I remember walking onto the sets. I was always like in my cropped t-shirts, track pants, and my hoodies. And now it's such a thing, but I always wore that. It was always, and my kids. That's how I used to be. You know, I would reach the sets like that.
No, that's exactly why I asked you. You know, I remember going through the film magazines, and you were someone who'd always stand out for your style. So I think back then we hadn't seen actresses, you know, wearing those shorts and the corsets and, you know, stuff that you wore. So,
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
I
that's
enjoyed
true.
it.
And of course, you have done some wonderful movies. But what stands out, I think, as an audience for me, is a song which is Humma Humma, and nobody else could do that. So, did you expect that kind of success for a song?
No, not at all. In fact, I really wish, when I look back at it, I wish I had enjoyed the process a lot more. You know, we've shot that whole song in one take. And then when you see, it's all snipped up and in all this edit, and I was like, why did we work so hard for it? But I suppose they could do that kind of edit only because we were shooting it in a certain way. But I think all of these songs and all of these moments have been a learning for me. I'm not a trained actor. I've never done theatre. I'm not a trained dancer. So I've learnt on the job, which seriously today, I would never get a job. But at that time, they were a little more lenient about it, and you know, people kind of, you kind of learnt on the job and you still got away with it. I don't think today I would get away with it.
Okay, that's pretty modest. But
no, today they come so prepared. You see the newcomers, they are so prepared, and you know, which is great, which is how it should be. I mean, I remember, if you take out my old interviews, I would always say that if I was a producer, I wouldn't sign me. I have always said that, and today I would sign me. But at that time, I was not ready. Now I'm ready.
But any of your own movies that you enjoy watching, or maybe the family enjoys watching?
So I've never watched my movies, and I don't really enjoy watching me on screen beyond the point, because it's done. Yeah. You're always going to find something that's not good enough, and because that's growing. And yes, I was not good. So there were so many times when I feel, damn, this was not good enough. So then it was more like just compartmentalize and not get into it, and not just kind of have so many regrets. I don't live with too many regrets. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't really watch my movies as much. But other than that, there are a couple of movies which are interesting, and you know, I get a lot of feedback for even today, and it's nice to have had those movies and those chances.
And of course, something else that you promote besides the movies is reading.
Yes,
being a
of
reader,
course,
being
yes.
a, you know,
My book
voracious
club.
reader yourself. Yes.
Sonali's book club. The best one.
True. And you've also authored a book, of course. Yes. So if you'd like to tell us about that process and your love for reading, of course.
I did write a book, but it's a lonely process. You have to sit alone and write, and I didn't enjoy the process as much. So maybe I'm not the writer that I thought I was. I'm more of a reader, and I really enjoy picking these books out and you know, meeting these authors, having this conversation, having this community that is put together, and kind of, you know, curating books for people in that sense. And I think I do a really good job of that. I have a great support team which really helps me with the book club, because book club is a passion project. All we get out of it is a lot of satisfaction, which really cannot be kind of counted, you know, so that I can't put a number on that. But yes, we do get a lot of satisfaction out of it. It's a passion project, and you know, a great team that supports it, and I hope to continue with it.
And of course, you know, you are an inspiration for a lot of people, because you were so positive at a time when you were going through your own toughest phase, battling cancer. So where does that positivity and that strength come from?
Honestly, I didn't think I was being very positive or I was being very strong. I mean, when everybody tells me that, I look back and I say, yeah, maybe I was, but I never felt that I was being strong. I just didn't know any other way to be. Maybe that's just me. The blow had been dealt. This is what it was. You had to get on with it and, you know, kind of make the most of what was happening. Either you got through it or you didn't get through it. Yeah. There was no third option to it. And I did not like the second option of not getting through it. I wanted to get through it. So if I wanted to get through it, then there was only one way to do it, and, you know, just go embrace it, I would say. And I did. I embraced it. I always felt that one goes through whatever happens in life because you're supposed to learn something from it. And I embraced it as such, as saying that this is a lesson that life is teaching me and I need to learn it. And that helped me.
And something so wonderful you said, most people wouldn't have the courage to say that, is that even sometimes family can really, sympathize with you, and that's not what a person needs really. You need strength. So, so how is that something, you had to be really strong to tell family that, don't give me any.
So there's a joke that we have in our family. We call it, even with my team, we say that. We say BC and AC, that is before cancer and after cancer. Now, before cancer, I would have been a little more, timid is not the right word, but a little more like, this doesn't sound right. This person will feel bad. But when I was going through what I was going through, there was no place to think about somebody else. I needed to think only about myself, otherwise I would not make it. So the moment I started thinking about myself, there were certain actions that were absolutely clear and absolutely right to do. And so the moment there was somebody who was coming in with very, the copious tears and the sympathy, and it was like, okay, bye-bye, I don't need to meet you just now, we shall meet a few years down the line. So right now I don't need this, and that was that.
And also being married to a filmmaker, have you thought about exploring that side of the movies ever?
Behind the camera, I think it's the best place to be actually. It is, but I don't know if I'm trained for it or not. And I think I'm just about kind of beginning to enjoy and really kind of, live in front of the camera fully. Yeah. So maybe a couple of years to do this and then explore that option also. Also, I do feel that now I don't need to stop being in front of the camera to be behind the camera, and I don't really necessarily have to do direction. Having a filmmaker husband, having a company that is into content production does help with that creative side for me also.
So is that something, movies that you'll discuss, at home as well, or is that something you'll just keep away?
No, of course, we do discuss it. I mean, when you're married, this is the 20th year, as my husband pointed out. I kept thinking it was my 19th year of marriage, just by the way. And he was like, babe, it's the 20th year. I'm like, oh, okay. But when you've been married for 20 years, believe me, you will discuss work. What are you, you're going to discuss things in life, so there is nothing that remains compartmentalized anymore. But when I started, I met Goldie on set, so during work. I worked in his production company, so we've dated while I was working, but after we got married, we've never worked. And I did feel at that point of time, I don't think both of us were ready for it, and we kept feeling that either we'll have a marriage or we'll have that project. I didn't think we would be able to kind of do that together, so we kind of kept that away. He did his work, I did my work, and we never really kind of interfered in each other's work. But I think we've reached a point where if he has something great, I would love to do it. If he doesn't have something great, I would say, please Goldie, find something great soon. Okay. I'm ready.
And as a new gen mom, how are you handling that role? I'm sure that's also
a
different side.
My son is 16 years old. Mm-hmm. And believe me, he doesn't want me around as much anymore. Though I have a great teenager who is very loving and who, one hears a lot of stories about teenagers not wanting to be hugged and not really interested in what you're doing. I don't have that problem. He's well enough interested and very loving and all of that. But he needs space, and I'm happy to give him that space because I have given to motherhood, parenting fully, like completely fully. So I feel that I can take time out now because he needs some time out too, and I don't want to be hovering over him. I think that would be detrimental to his growth. And so it's time to not hover over him and to find my own life or to regain some of the things that I used to do. And so I'm so totally ready to get back to work.
Yeah, and you have worked across mediums, as we know.
Yes.
But are there any, filmmakers or anything any roles maybe that you have in mind that you still want to explore?
I really, there's so much of interesting new talent out there, and the way they think is so different that it's very exciting, and I would love to work with new people, new writers, new directors, new technicians, because it's like a new world that's opened out, and I don't know anything about it. So it's, for me, it's like, a child who's been given all these, a room full of toys suddenly. So I'm like, okay, which one, So I want to try out everything. But like you mentioned, the medium wise, I'm not that comfortable with theatre as a medium, because I realized when I did theatre for the play that I did, some people enjoy the repetitiveness of doing things and finding something different every time they do a show. And they find joy in that, and it's beautiful. But I'm not that person. I need to move on. When I'm done with the character, move on to the next character, live the next life, live the, be another person. I enjoy that.
It was lovely having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.